Everyone, I'm just making a test. So before you start, I want to make sure that everything is working accordingly. Just give me a couple of minutes so I can make sure that you do have the audio working properly. Just give me a minute. I just making a test. Yes, I think it's working. Yeah, I think it's working. Yeah. So I'm very happy to be here. I'm very happy to have this opportunity to talk about this letter I have just published on Academia Do. Just to give you a very quick overview, Academia Do is an experiment from Academia. Academia Do is a website that you can upload scientific papers. It's free; anyone can upload. I use Academia Do for about 5 6 years. I start to use Academia Do when I was maybe on my Master of Science. I mean, what's very nice, they evolved a lot. I believe what they are today is much more than they were yesterday. And what I love the most about Academia Do is that they are always trying new things. Uh, so I'm not sure that Academia Do is as big as ResearchGate. I don't know, but I have the feeling they have different public. In some point, I think Academia Do is better. In some point, I mean, I use both of them. I use ResearchGate and I use Academia Do. I do believe that this kind of websites, such as Academia Do, ResearchGate, all those websites, they are quite important because they give the author the opportunity to share their work without too much constraint, because you don't need to publish your work as a peer review to publish on Academia Do. You don't have to have anything at all. You can upload whatever you want. So I think that's the way. I believe. I think as I see it, science. Suppose I just wrote a book about my criticism against the peer review system, and this letter is a little bit on the same line. So this letter is a kind of you may say my way to call the attention for the importance of you focus on innovation instead of just publication. So on this live, I'm going to comment. I'm going to comment mainly. I'm going to comment the review. I'm not going to comment all the process. It's not. It wasn't that big, but still, I do not want to. I would say use my time to reply everything, but I also want to have time to comment on the some people that participate, because right now we have a discussion on Academia Do. You are all invited to participate from this discussion, and there you can actually make questions. You can actually participate from the discussion. So here I'm going to comment some of the review. I'm going to also comment some of the comments that the reader left after that. Just to let you know how it works to publish this paper on Academia Do a letter, because maybe you want as well to publish. I mean, you may think like I have a work that I think it's worth reading, and I want to give it a try. First of all, I'm a reviewer on Academia Do. I received about, so far I reviewed, I guess, 2 papers, and there was one that I rejected to review because I didn't have time. I was a little bit busy, but as I left very clear for them, I'm still open to make the review on Academia Do. And I was very proud to see that I was also accepted, because I mean, I do enjoy what they are doing, but I was a little bit afraid. I was a little bit cautious, because you do have what they call predatory journal, that journal that they focus too much on on the payment. So on the focus on the payment, they know that this concept of predatory journal, you pay for the publication, but the journal is not concerned about the quality of your work. They're not concerned about. I have nothing against. You have a huge amount of journal. I think it's healthy. It's good that you have several options to publish instead of have just Nature or traditional publications. I guess that's very wonderful that science, I think the internet is a very important step for science because it creates for us the opportunity to share our work, such as the case of deep learning. Deep learning is a very interesting case because there is a TED talk in which you can actually see how deep learning was evolving. And deep learning was evolved mainly on the ground, using such as Ox archive and the other kind of sharing. So people could share their work, people could collaborate. That's one of the idea behind my letter. Is more the same idea that we should let me just see if I have my battery working properly. Yep, I have because maybe yesterday I had a problem with battery. I was following a talk, an interesting talk, then the battery was down. Now today I remember to charge the computer. Anyway, I do have this kind of. Let me see. From time to time I have to double check here to see. I think it's fine. Yes, because I'm a little bit as well far away from the input point, so I want to make sure that things working properly. So that's it, guys. So how is the process of academia letter? First of all, you have to send. There is no payment for it. There's no fee. There is no payment. It's about from 3 to 6,000 words, which is in a Word, in a Microsoft Word, it's about 2 pages. It's not that big. That's because it's called letter. But that can be, in my opinion, it can be an amazing opportunity for you to share kind of work. Maybe you have a work that you want to publish in a more open way. As you can see from academia, it's very awesome because there's a huge amount of people comment on the discussion. Now we have about almost 100 people participate from the discussion, which is something that I don't think that you see that on traditional publication. I have published by journals. I never published for the Nature and so on but I do believe that I have the impression based on my experience that no traditional way can do what academia is doing. Academia is trying to put together, as I see it, the traditional way of publishing, which is by peer review, which I have serious criticism against, but most of the issue I have against the traditional publication academia is addressing, not all of them, but still I feel that I'm using the internet, the power of the internet versus the power of making somebody else read their work, make criticism. Of course, it's not perfect, but after you send your paper, they're going to send somebody else. I also received as a review, so somebody else is going to read your paper. In our specific case, you had 80 reviewers. 6 of them accept the paper. 2 of them reject the paper. The one that reject the paper, they are anonymous. So I have no idea. I don't know if they're anonymous because they want to be anonymous, if they are anonymous because there is the academia they made the anonymous, but they are anonymous. But they were a little bit harsh, I would say. But I'm not surprised. I have published before. It's the same game. What I have notes and I published that on my book. I have seen that as well with other people as well. In general, there is also some publication talking about the same topic. It's rarely you have a reviewer agreeing. They are going to say, I'm sorry for that, but they're going to say stupid things like this. So I published a paper for another journal. I'm not going to cite now. This one is there is a forum. This one was awesome as well because we had a forum and we could discuss. The only drawback that the researcher that was participating from the forum, which I was working with, they didn't have the mentality. He didn't have the mind. He didn't have the mentality to do that because I don't think that it will be very easy to change the mentality of people. What I have learned in my book is that the peer review process you have today is not old. Albert Einstein had a problem with the peer review process because his first papers in the DNA discovery, none of them were peer review. So we do have some strong criticism. But that's not the reason they live. So I just wanted to explain a little bit what does academia do. how the process work, how the papers are published. But now I want to talk about our letter. But before, let me explain more a little bit what is innovative biomathematics. First of all, we do have a playlist. We do have a course, official course. Maybe we may have a book on Amazon as well about the innovative biomathematics. Right now, I'm writing a book about computational thinking, which is more or less the same line. It has all of them that are connected somehow. So, what's innovative biomathematics? For me, innovative biomathematics all about using the models uh, to go to apply it. Most of the time, it's a browser, it's a web application, which as I did in my second postdoc. One of the reviews said that I had no novel idea, that it wasn't new. That was one of the ones that suggested to reject the paper. His point that it was not new. No idea was new in anyone. To be honest, it was not surprised to me in the sense that I was not very sad because when I heard that. I just confirmed what I already was trying to publish. Because I always have a kind of criticism against what innovation. I mean, it says, what's novel? What's the meaning of novel? Even the theory of relativity is not totally new. Einstein had some influence from. Einstein was accused a lot of time for taking the work of somebody else without citing, because maybe he didn't. I don't know if it was by purpose, but what I'm saying that it's impossible to be completely new. Even the theory of relativity was not completely new. So why should I be totally new? But the biggest point is that it doesn't have to be totally new, in the sense that the whole idea of innovative biomathematics that you should stop to building models to be like revolutionary and start to apply the modern society. The analogy I like to do is the iPhone. How the iPhone was built. If you take the story of Bill Gates, the story of Steve Jobs in the smartphone, what they have done, they create a first version of the app. Then they decide to sell the first version, and then you had a loop. This loop was able to improve the iPhone. The iPhone today is amazing. The computer was this way. A huge amount of technology. They started simple, then they start to improve as you get feedback from the user. Innovative biomathematics is all about this. It's about that you build your first version of your app, then you have contact with the user, which will be the medical doctor, the biologist. But not just about that. It's about as well to use our models, even before our model is finished. Of course, you have to let people know that your model is not complete. But the first step is because my idea is that I sometimes have a little bit hard for me to explain because I do not know your background. But on scientific world, when you build a model, in general, this model is built like, for example, when I did my PhD, it was 3 to 4 years of work. But imagine if you do a PhD that you always connect with somebody, society. You may think that PhD is connected. It's not. It's totally isolated. So innovative biomimetics is that you should all the time doing the model, doing your app together with the final user, which would be most likely a medical doctor, a bioinformatician. As I did a survey on the Thursday Morning Science, I saw that considerable amount of people they do not use software. They have problem parameterization. They have problem with the user interface. That's what innovative biomathematics was so, I think, at time, because I do believe that you may say as well, you may say to yourself, like, people are doing that. Yes, some people are doing that. I'm not saying that I'm completely say like I'm the first one to say that. But there's one catch, which I did, a trap that I follow myself with my postdoc. In the trap that I saw another research that as well. I'm not say a trap. I would say a tennis. This other researcher, which is a very famous researcher from a very famous lab, I was talking to him, and he told me that he did exactly what I did on my postdoc. He used the interface, the front end application, just to show the data. But you can do more than that. TensorFlow.js, which we are going to have in our book, was built precisely to be used on the front end, like the web application. So you don't need anymore to have to make the calculation on the back end, like on a server. Then you send your data to the front end. Such as TensorFlow.js it's very special for medical doctors. Because why? Because when you are working with medical doctors, you may have data. I saw that to my postdoc. You have data that the medical doctor do not want this data to go to the back end. They do not want to store that data. So you can process all the data on the front end. You can process all the data on the front end. You can make all the calculation on the front end. The data will never leave the computer of the medical doctor. So I can give you a huge amount of reason why innovating biomathematics is so special. I can on the letter you have a couple of reference, but what you should keep in mind that when you talk about innovative biomathematics, you have essentially three components, which I think is very important nowadays. You have the internet, the web application, the internet browser, very cheap. You can build a huge app, all of them for free, without pay a single thing, a single cent. If you want to grow, just pay for as you grow. The second point, you have the models, because even though the models in biomathematics and computational biology, they're still not like complete, but they are already quite powerful. But the problem is that since you still have a culture driven to publication, people in general, they do not code. They do not make the code for if they make the code is specific for their own application, I mean, their own lab. So what's the probability of somebody else going to implement your code? It may happen, but it's pretty low. I think that the innovative biomathematics should start from the beginning. When you build the first version of your model, you should start innovative biomathematics, even though it's still in the beginning. As a programmer in the mathematical model, I think that's the way. I think it should start innovative since the beginning. Professor, I think it was Professor Gana asked me, I talked to her about innovative biomathematics, you do have it here on the channel, and she asked me, I think it was Professor Gana or it was Alexei Kolondik, I don't remember which of them did a live with me. They asked, who is going to do innovative biomathematics? I think it's everyone. You should start from the beginning. I mean, because it's more or less the same fight you are having with why medical doctors. Yesterday, I saw a very nice talk on the Thursday Morning Science about statistics, the importance of statistics. I invite him to come to the channel. He's invited to come to the channel. But the point is that he showed the importance of you having this kind of mentality of statistics on the medical doctor science era, on the biomedical era as a whole. I think that's the same way. If you start teaching people from the beginning how to innovate with biomathematics, it can be much easier than you wait at the end to start to innovate. Because it's similar to startup. I was inspired by startup because my postdoc was about on the startup context. So it is about I have to check from time to time if I think it's okay. But it's about make a loop that you always in contact with your public, even if your model is still in the beginning. With that said, I want to comment. I want to make some comments here on the part of I do have some of them here, but maybe I will need to add more. I'll take the comment I wanted to. Some of this comment was sent to me as a reviewer, as a review process, as a peer reviewer, as I said. The other was sent after the letter was published. And the letter is still available for discussion. You have I think 2-3 months to discuss. So be my guest, go there, make the discussion. And let's talk. That's the reason why I published the letter. I published the letter because I wanted to open the discussion. So I'm going to take here randomly. So okay, this one, the article look okay. However, it requires quality enrichment and latest reference to support the argument. About the quality enrichment, I did some of them. But I have to be honest, I read again, I didn't find too much. I found some typos, I find some problem of free, but it was not that much. But anyway, I did, before I published the final version, I did a new version, but it didn't change too much. Also, is a request to present the latest reference to support the argument. I don't know, the reference you see there, the most of the references 2001, 2021, 2022. I do know that I have a huge amount of my own reference. I did a kind of considerable amount of self-citation because it's my work. I'm doing that. So self-citation because I'm trying to call the attention to a work that I have done. The letter is just 2 pages. How can you write a lot of stuff in 2 pages? So I don't know. There is nothing I can do about that. Uh, I don't know because maybe I can write. I'm writing a book right now. No, I'm writing a book about computational thinking. But I do have a draft for a book about innovative biomathematics. But that's for the future. On the book, I can do whatever I want. But on the scientific paper, if you publish a paper, you know that you should keep your paper on the limit of pages. So in this specific case, I had to keep the paper limited on 3,000 to 6,000 words. It was quite hard to do that because I knew I had a lot to talk, but I had the limit of pages. Therefore, the author is required to proofread and bring more strong argument with reference. Okay, I can't do that on the book. Thanks a lot. It was a reviewer. This reviewer, I'm not sure if I don't remember. It was reject or accept. I do not remember. Sorry. You do have that. All of this is on the page. If you go to the discussion page, it's all public. You can go there and check for everything. The second one, the article is good. Also explain the idea about computational biology and also discuss about several technology development. Okay, I don't think I have too much to say. That's the idea. I mean, the negative one is sometimes you answer because I know it's a little bit harder to take because you will not publish a paper. At least I do not publish a paper if I think that the paper is bad. Anyway. The next one. The article good and need to discuss about computational. The article good and need to discuss about computational biology and technology. I don't know what the other person wants to say. Computational biology, technology. I don't know what I mean because computational biology is technology. Because you have web application, maybe you want to talk about sequencing. I don't know, technology for make sequencing. I don't know what you mean by technology because, of course, you do have to discuss more. But my idea is not to make a complete literature review. A paper that take like about 13 page or more just to talk about it, just to start to talk about it. So it's a very complex topic. Let me see. Let me give me a minute for me to see another one. I have my computer here. Let me see. This one I'm going to show you is from a person that read the paper after publication. See that you can make comment. I'm just make comment like you could do. So the person said this person did a comment after the paper was published. So the paper was already accepted. He wrote a huge amount of words, which I encourage you to read. I enjoyed a lot. He talked about his career. He talked about his experience to go all over the world with a multidisciplinary, interdisciplinary background. He said that it was very important to him to be a professor with this background that was very dynamic. That's one of the reasons I also defend that you should have a very dynamic and a very, how would I say, a very biomathematics, innovative biomathematics is this kind of stuff that you try to incorporate web application, applied math, bioinformatics, system biology, web application, all of those stuff. That's what he said. I mean, the same line. But I took a small part of his comment. His comment was big, but I just took a small part. You go there on the Academia and you can check for yourself all the comments, which I do encourage you to do. So he said, with this experience behind me, which is his experience that he explained quite well he explains quite well there. I see this article giving light to a group of professionals here in Nepal. By the way, one of my best friends from Nepal. When I was in Italy, Bibek, a good friend, I do enjoy. He's from Nepal. I had a huge amount of friends from Nepal as well. Or it could be as well be anywhere in the world who are struggling to innovate in the university. Education in the 21st century. Totally agree. I mean, I don't know why. It's easy to agree with somebody that agree with you. I don't know. Anyway, that's the idea. The idea is to... I'm not thinking specific about education, but education can be application, specifically because right now, most of the models in biomathematics, they are toy models. I mean, you have a couple of live on this channel, and you still can, as a biomathematician, still can solve complex problems, but most of the models still for education. I'm doing that on my computational biology book. I'm writing a book about computational thinking, and I'm building a considerable amount of toolbox. When I was on my PhD, I read a book about pharmacokinetic and pharmacodynamics, and there was a website that could go there and make the simulations of the drug. You can see how the drug you go into the system. So I do believe that's kind of a innovation for education, innovative mathematics for education. It's kind of interesting title. So innovative mathematics for education. So I can take it before I take it. It can be an option. I do believe that can be. Thanks a lot. Porna, I do not know. Sorry for your name. I don't know how to pronounce Bibik. I took a while to learn how to pronounce Bibik. Let's see the other one. This one I already did. Let me put for you another one here. Another one. So this one, another one. Interesting thought to me. It raised a lot of question marks. I sometimes wonder when humanity has to become virtual, which we do have a live about virtual humans. So if Alexei Kolondik, or almost virtual to match all the computational biology. Yes, we do have a couple live if Alexei Kolondik about the virtual human, and as well we had a live with Professor Kasabov about we call the virtual brain. That's how I called it. He liked the idea. At the same time, others are turned around to the ancient times, trying to discover what was thought, what was thousands of years ago. Yeah, it could be. I mean, simulation has, for example, the Big Bang. Some people study the Big Bang use simulation because simulation, if you build the model, you can go backward, you can go forward. A professor of mine from my PhD, he built a model for gene expression using observer, Professor Pasquale Palumbo. He was my advisor, a big friend of mine. He built a model that he could go backward for the protein because the protein was produced. You could just see the protein produced. Then he built a model to go backward to understand what's going in the path of the transcription. So this model was backward. So maybe if you build a model for, if you build a model for maybe for situation, you can go backward. There is even the case of people that have studied the moon. They studied how, it's not about biology, but about physics. They studied how the moon was formed. So they build a model, then they try to simulate how the moon was formed using a model, computational model. So it's possible. I think that's quite interesting thought. Let's take another one. Another one. Let me take another one. As again, I'm not going to answer everything, but anyway, here it's from the review, another review. I don't know if you like review. This one was before accepted. As I said before, you had 80 reviewers, 6 accepted, and 2 rejected. It's innovative idea and appreciate the effort of the researcher. The support of the developer for coding, which is the idea. I want to bridge between web developers, as you call web dev, and the bioinformatician, biologists, medical doctors. The idea can be worked out. Okay. The idea needs more suggestion for experience by yeah, doctors. Okay, I do agree. The reason why I published the taking the decision support. Yeah, okay, I agree totally. The reason why I published the paper, that's all about discussion. I didn't publish the paper because I think that's the final result. I mean, I published the paper because I want to discuss. That's why we have a discussion on Academia. I do not think that one person can, maybe it was a big mistake from the past. On the world of the industry, startup is all about you create a product, then you test the product all the time. Innovative biomathematics is all about that. I mean, if you think that the paper is also about all about that, I'm sending the paper because I want people to read the paper. And if you are an experienced biologist, if you are experienced medical doctor, you want to come here and talk, remember that you do have a couple of people that came to the channel asking about innovating biomethematics. I did some question with some expert here. Yeah, I do know that it's a topic that must be worked out. I don't know. I think that's a very nice comment. I do agree with that. Let me see. Let me take another one. Yeah, let me take this one. This one. So the next one, the article could have been more concise. I don't know. Can be smaller. I don't know. 2 page, like it's more than that. Is one. One person asked me to talk. I give a line course. I know how hard it can be. Reviews as well. I have a friend of mine that he's trying to publish a paper for about 1 year. One reviewer say one thing, the other reviewer say the other. He had a huge amount of work to fix the mistake of work because one review asked him to do one thing. Then he did a huge amount of correction in his paper. The other reviewer came and asked him to, I know what's that. I have been there. So anyway, the article could have been more concise, summarized with more practical example and illustration from real-time application. Yeah, I can do that on my book, but on a paper of 2 pages, it's kind of hard. I had when I wrote this short letter, it was hard for me to decide what to write. I had a huge amount of ideas. I had a huge amount of thoughts. I thought, what can I write? I mean, what can I put? So it was very hard to summarize. But I do agree that maybe I can add more. But let me see another one. So the mathematical qualification of biologist research are of primary scientific interest. The paper by Jorge Guerra Pires, it's me, is valuable for contribution to better match the activity of the biologist using informatics model and chemical computers and to build the model. The support. Yeah, thanks. It was one of the one that accept the paper, the sixth one that accept the paper. So I do agree that that's the idea behind. I think what makes me happy sometimes in the review processes is that in general, at least one reviewer is able to catch the idea. Maybe that's one thing that you should always keep in mind. Whenever you try to publish a paper, do not expect all the review to understand what you are doing. There's a reason why I should not take very seriously when your paper is rejected. If you know your paper is good, just go ahead. I had some reject on my PhD. In the beginning, I was a little bit sad, but then you start to understand that that's not so. It's a kind of random and so on. Let me see another one. Another one. Let's do another one. So looking at the title critically, one will expect to see presentation of data and table of further explanation. Yeah, that has to do with the previous one. The previous one wanted me to present data and table and so on. However, the author has really made significant impact to justify the topic. Hence, yeah, as he understood as the previous reviewer, but he accepted that I wasn't able, I didn't present the data as he expected, but I was able to make my point. Thanks a lot. Let's see. I think that's let me see the last one. Let's see another one. The next one, the review. This one was rejected, but what he said is accept. I don't know why he put reject because he said reject, but he said some nice words. He said interesting and timely article, which kind of accept for me. Clear text. It's addressed a long-standing question. It's fed. Just need a revision of the English. Okay. For me, it's more he put like reject, but more for accept. Yeah, that's fun. Yeah, thanks a lot. The next one, I think that's the last one. The last one is a reject. The guy asked to reject the paper. I'm not put everything that he wrote. I'm just taking what is the part that he wrote because I think that's important to keep that in mind because maybe somebody else that is reading my letter, we have the same kind of concern. He said, no novel idea are proposed in this write-up. Its method and conclusion, if there are any, are not novel either. It's not counterintuitive thinking and it's not special time. Well, the previous review said it was timely. This one said it not. I don't know. Anyway, let me answer this in the best way possible. First of all, as I said before, innovative mathematics is not about to make the theory of relativity. It's about using those theories before they are built. Because when you build a model, even though you do have to pay attention to the math, you do have to pay attention to all the details, is to have someone to use the model. Most of these models, I have my own experience, my PhD, my postdoc, they are quite expensive if you think about it, because there's a postdoc, you spend like 2 years, 3 years, or a PhD or a Master of Science. Most of them are not used because even though they are amazing, they are magnificent, people are not using this model, in my opinion. They're not using this model. I saw one time, you do have this channel, this video, where I did a video saying that if you publish a paper and your paper has at least one equation, your citation probability will fall by 25%, I believe. Which means that if you publish a paper with equation on biomathematics, you decrease your chance of somebody reading your paper. So what about instead of publish all this paper? Because take the case of Google. I love the case of Google because I'm using TensorFlow.js, I'm using Angular, I like Google Talks. Google is interesting because Google did a revolution in artificial intelligence, especially in deep learning, because TensorFlow.js is deep learning, and the Keras as well, they use in Python. If I remember well, it's also from Google. They get the people from Google. Sometimes ago, I saw a talk from Marvin. Marvin is one of the most important guy when it comes to artificial intelligence. Marvin, he did amazing work. I mean, what he did is like I cannot describe. He was talking on his interview, which I can leave for you in the description of the video. What happened to artificial intelligence? He was sad that somehow because artificial intelligence was unable to evolve. As he said before, most of the work on artificial intelligence was built by the American Army. But then they started to finance the research. Then artificial intelligence stopped. He said that it happened that the first group of his students that he was able to teach artificial intelligence, they left the university for a job. Most of them had a job. The next group, which is I don't remember how many generations it was, but he said that the last group that he was able to teach, they didn't get a job. Some of them got a job outside of artificial intelligence. But now, see what deep learning is. Deep learning is like it's a new revolution. There is a very nice documentary about China using deep learning and trying all this company use deep learning. Deep learning was able to beat in chess, Go as well. So deep learning is doing amazing work. All of this was using this kind of innovative, not biomathematics, but innovative models. You can call this innovative models. Because like Google was able to create tools. For example, Google Translator. Google Translator uses deep learning. Image recognition. There is on my book, Computational Thinking, I have several examples about some of the tools of Google. But it's amazing because they didn't have to do all this kind of traditional way. Deep learning was this way. Deep learning was not born from the traditional publication. Deep learning was born more or less for innovating because they used to share the codes. They used to talk about the algorithm. They used to share the algorithm. So deep learning was able to evolve so fast because everyone was working together. So innovative mathematics is all about you stop to build the model in the dark of the night, in a cave, and you start to use this model with medical doctor, work together with them because energy is limited, money is limited. So whenever you have a contact, and I can tell by own experience, even today people that claim they have contact with medical doctor, they don't have, not the way they should have. There is a very nice documentary about deep learning, which I may leave for you. A medical doctor, she said that she was surprised when she tried to apply deep learning to medical doctor application, that no one was using that. She was surprised because I was as well surprised because I asked as well, I think it was Kolondik, if they are using those models, and he said that maybe it's not, I eventually well. There is as well a survey I did on Thursday Morning Science in which you can see that a considerable amount of medical doctor, which study one science is mainly medical doctor and biologists, most of them they didn't use models. Sorry, they didn't use software. It was a huge amount. I think it was more than half of the medical doctors and biologists. I was there because I did my PhD at the University of Latvia, so I did for them. I was the first one to start to make talks about bioinformatics. So I even have a group called BISMA, which our goal was to create this kind of idea inside the group. I think we did a great job because now they do have talks about bioinformatics and so on. Anyway, guys, if you have any questions, you can ask now. You make your question now. You stay silent forever. Joking, I'll be always around. Just joking, I'll be always around. But if you have any question, you can do on the chat. As you see that all these comments you see here on the below, it's come from the chat. You can make the question, any question you want. But suppose I don't have a question, I'll just close now, but you have a question, you can do now. What I can say about innovative biomathematics is that indeed it's not new. It's not something that I'm trying to say that I'm the first one. I'm not the first one. What I'm trying to say that we do have to create a kind of culture of creating web application. You may ask myself, why now? Why why do you think you are one of the first one, or at least you believe that you are different when you're trying to this idea of innovating biomathematics? It's because things change so fast. I start my life programming Java. I was programming Java, I remember. Java was pretty hard to code compared to JavaScript that I'm using now, compared to Angular that I'm using now. And best of all, you can build a huge app, everything for free, everything so fast. And that was quite fast. I learned that on my second postdoc. I learned how easy now is to build this app. Right now, I'm building an app called the Miyagi-Do Lab, which you do have on this project. All of this for free. Of course, you have to code. You have the hard work to code. But according to my experience with Java, and I code for about 15 years, I do have a book about essays about coding, which you can buy a copy if you want. But when I want to say that maybe you don't have, you need to make some kind of paper like this one, as I wrote in this letter I wrote about innovative mathematics, because you need to call the attention. And so everyone was like, oh, what a nice paper, what an interesting paper. That's because I think people are not calling the attention for two most important innovative mathematics. We do have a huge amount of models which are pretty good. Most of the models can, even though they may not be trusted 100%, they are very good models. You do have a way to build a web application very cheap. You can use Amazon to deploy. You can deploy in Heroku. You can deploy whatever you want. As well, Daniel Kahneman, which I like to cite in my book, I cite a lot as well, he showed that even simple models can be better than medical doctors and experts in certain situations. I do have as well a video in which I talk more about it. So, guys, I think that's it. So just to summarize, on this video, I talked a little bit about how academia works, academia letter, how it works. I talk a little bit about how the process, which I do love. I think it's a very nice opportunity. I think if you have the opportunity to publish it, then you should publish. I talk a little bit about some of the comments that is there on Academia Do. You can go there and see bias for yourself. I talk a little bit about some comment of the reviewers. And finally, I talked about some bad reviews that I got was 2 reviews. With that said, I think I said enough. I hope that this video will be useful for you. And as always, I'm always here, so you can leave your comment. You are invited. You want to share something to the channel. The idea is that you grow together, go by discussing. So have a nice day or afternoon or night. I don't know where you are, which country or which place in the world you are. So see you around.